A mystery package arrived on my doorstep today. No postmark, so don't know where it's from. But it's wrapped in insulating tape to keep the box sealed. What could it be? No return address or signature. That's rather unusual because normally, at least with Australia Post, you do have to put that. As for its weight, well, it's not super heavy. Whatever is seems to be medium sized. It's not one of those cases where you have something absolutely tiny and there's just huge amounts of bubble wrap and there's a massive box. The box itself says Maker something, Core Elec AU, which may or not be related to the contents. All this mystery is killing me, so let's grab the scissors and have a look. We have a note, a letter, even done on a computer. Having spent considerable time watching your YouTube channel videos, I thought I would repay you for the entertainment I received. Not worth a couple of bucks, hardly enough to buy a can of Coke. Good thing since I don't drink the stuff anyway. But rather giving you something that should entertain you for some time. That should be right up your alley. I have included within this package 2 Valsala RS41 radio sondes. One has been pre-programmed with some code enabling you to transmit CW, RTTY and APRS within the sonde's TX range capability. This particular firmware was chosen as it's simple and easy to program for me and use for you. I have included a second sonde that has not been flashed, but I've changed the serial number to VK3YE and bumped the frequency to 405 MHz to get it away from the common 400 to 403 meg SOM RX receiving station scan range. You can manually change various parameters including frequencies to within ham bands following the instructions links provided on the SD card. Note, power this one up indoors to minimise any chance of illegalities or getting detected by sonde tracking stations. After resetting the frequency to the ham bands, you can enjoy outdoors. Both sondes require a USB to serial converter to play with, which I've included. I've also included a micro SD card, which have some files detailing information for the use of the programmed version and other useful information. Amongst the files on the card is a link to a Digimetry Pito GitHub project I thought was rather cool, as you can set the frequency wherever on the go using your phone by connecting to the sonde via your phone's Wi-Fi. The project requires a WeMOS D1 Mini programmed. To make life easy, I have included a pre-programmed WeMOS D1 Mini. You just need to follow the instructions for wiring to the RS41 sonde and accessing it with Wi-Fi on your phone. I know it works, I've already had one to play with. I hope you find this mystery package one of your more fun ones for you to play with. Regards, Mystery Mail Package Sender. Well, thank you. This will definitely provide lots and lots of things to do. And we have in this box of goodies, here it is. It is just super light. M something BC, and it's got VK3, that's obviously VK3YE. And we have, oh here we are, another one, VK3YE. So, this is a box of goodies. Now, what else have we got here? Oh, this is quite heavy actually. This has got Oh, it's batteries, and that was the other thing that was mentioned. So, this is for Mouser Electronics. Oh, I don't know if this bag has anything to do with it. OM3BC. This is made out of very light polystyrene, like you get in an esky. I think it might be blue tacked here. I'm not going to force it too much. But anyway, hope you can see inside. A printed circuit board, looks like two AA batteries, and then the transmitter module would be on the other side. Oh, well, that was easy. It just came out, just lifted out. This is just super light, very thin printed circuit board, probably also quite bendable, so fairly delicate. There's a little, maybe that's the switch. There's something that presses there. And the components, well, you might just be able to see them through here. They are tiny. Now, what are these things on top of the package? Well, that's super thin, looks like it plugs into something, and this looks a lot like some sort of antenna. Maybe it's the GPS antenna for this thing. And then a plastic thing, maybe that ties to the weather balloon that this would have originally been attached. Now this other one, slightly different. It's got some wires actually soldered to this thing. So yeah, maybe this one is the pre-programmed one that's set up, ready to go. Alright, I've got my bits and pieces for detecting RF. Baofeng transceiver, which definitely receives 405 megahertz and the 70 centimeter band. And my little squeaky RF detector, which I've featured in a previous video. Now this is super handy for detecting anything that emits RF. So it could be useful in this case. Alright. Blinded by all this science, let's read the letter again, see what we can do now. Okay, I've included within this package one has been pre-programmed with some code enabling transmit CW RTTY APRS within the SOND's TX range. It's mention of, then there's a second SOND at 405. The frequency of the first one isn't mentioned, but there's a warning about the second one. Power this one up indoors. Okay, so I'm guessing the first one is actually in the amateur band on 70 centimeters. So that one, we'll see what we can do. Mystery mail package sender has thought of everything, including the batteries. Here's the other bits. And here's the micro USB. This mystery sender of this mystery package has really gone to a lot of trouble with the documentation. I reckon they must professionally work in the industry. Anyway, one of the README texts says the SOND marked OM3BC VK3YE already has the sonde flashed with the OM3BC firmware and a suitable header attached for easy interface with a USB to serial converter supplied. It has been configured with CW message VK3YE test, RITI off, APRS off. The transmit frequency has been set to 434.5. Okay, so here's the one referred to, OM3BC and VK3YE. And the other just has VK3YE, but it's got the thing attached. To communicate with the OM3BC flashed sonde, you need to use the supplied USB to serial converter and install the terminal program PuTTY. For the USB to serial converter to be recognized by PC, you'll need FTDI VCP driver. You'll need to pick the right one for your operating systems, etc. 32 versus 64. Drivers can be found here, and there's a link. PuTTY can be found, and there's a link. To see if the driver was successfully installed, plug the USB to serial converter into the PC and check Windows Device Manager USB controllers list. If the drivers were successfully installed, you should see one called USB serial converter. Once drivers are installed, connect the USB to serial adapter to the sonde with components side facing up. Connect the adapter to the PC, power up the sonde and open PuTTY. Leave the USB to serial voltage selector link where I put it at 3.3 volt. Do not move to 5 volt or this may destroy the sonde. Set PuTTY to serial. Anyway, there we are. Anyway, talks about COM port and stuff. Anyway, this could be a useful beacon for receiver sensitivity testing. So, yep, let's get a receiver going for 434.5. Put some batteries in and see what we can hear. Now, how do we put the batteries in the right way? Well, the mystery sender has thought of that also. That's minus, that's plus, and there's plus and there's minus. Also, there's this, which I think is the GPS antenna. That seems to mate with that, and looks like that goes through there, so there's something just to hold it tight. This, which I think goes to the string that goes to the balloon, appears to mate with this on the case, so we'll put that in later. Battery's in. Now there's a little button here, let's press it and see what happens. Well, sounds like some Morse. Got the little squeaky, the audible RF indicator. Let's see if that is sensitive enough to respond. Don't have a balloon, so the next best thing to connect this to and use it as a support to get some height is a squid pole. So just tied it to the top of the squid pole. I'll put it out in the backyard and then go for a walk and see how far I can pick this thing up. It's dead calm, so just got the squid pole lashed to a chair. I was going to go for a walk and see how far I could hear this transmitter, but I thought, well, on the off chance, I'd put a message just telling people that it was on the air and to listen for it. Almost immediately I got a response from Tim VK3YE in VK3 saying that he could hear it 29 kilometers away.
As we can hear, it's very faint, but it is there. We will change over to the vertical drill band width now. Find the right coaxial cable. This is the drill band vertical now. He said it was on 100 milliwatts.
So that's my test of the contents of the mystery box from an unknown sender. It was a lot of fun, and hopefully I'll get around to doing all the other stuff. These things are very versatile, and I've only really done the first thing, having put some batteries in it and got it on air, but there's a lot more that can be done, and given the distance that's already been received, even from this very ordinary suburban location, it's got a lot of potential for some quite long distance transmitting and receiving experiments.